In a city of 8.6 million people, there's only one thing on every Knicks fan's mind.
Frank?
Frank?
We need you, Frank.
I knew Frank since high school.
Who's it with Frank?
Frank wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, and we're guilty of it too.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Who we talking about?
We're talking about Frank. We're always talking about Frank.
But the truth is, Frank's recently poor play and some trade rumors are making his future with the Knicks a topic of debate.
I'm hearing some rumors, and I'd like you to clear some things up for me because I'm very confused right now.
Welcome to Frank.
Take notes!
Big Beach!
We're here.
My man, Alan Houston.
It's different this time.
But it sounds like you're
Reggie in town.
At the Philadelphia game, yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on when you watch this.
It was up in there. The scouts is up in there, huh?
The Orlando Magic had some scouts up there. And they were watching Frank Ntilikina, and they said they're intrigued. The reason this is even coming up is that Frank is having a really bad time of it right now.
Right, last 3 games have not been
I was
at all.
definitely the last 2, but because I thought he had like a nice little 3-game stretch when we were winning, even though he didn't play a lot. He was actually playing well in the minutes. But the last 2 games, zeros across the board. He only got 2 assists last night, nothing else. 14, 15 minutes. Not enough time to put up numbers, but zeros in everything. No points, rebounds, assists.
That just makes it look really, really bad. And we know that we're big Frank supporters, and we are there looking for any glimmer of light in his future with the Knicks. In his future with the Knicks. What I see with Frank is that I see the potential for something really, really good with him. And every now and again, I see little glimpses of it. I see him play, and I see that he looks confident. But it's almost like every time it starts going in that direction a little bit, then all of a sudden it's like Paul Bannock is like back to reality, and like then he's not playing well again. But he is a guy, to be honest with you, no matter where he goes, I do want to see him do well, and I do want to see him succeed, even if he doesn't stay with us.
Let me give you my point of view. So last season, we knew it was rough for him. Moving here, second language, being thrust into New York City, KP goes down. There's just a lot going on. What was cool, I love that he came back to New York, didn't spend too long in France, and has been here training ever since. Working hard. We saw him all summer, working on his body, getting everything right. Season starts, even preseason, and I'm seeing some things.
Started seeing him improving.
We
started seeing that.
We started seeing it so much so that Fizdale starts him at small forward over Knox, which is a bit of a surprise. So 5 game goes in, Frank is in after. Then he gets his start in game 6. And you and me are there at the Garden when he takes on the Golden State Warriors. We get to the Garden, we're excited. It's him versus Curry, and he comes out in that first half.
I liked how he played in that game. I think
he blew everyone away. I think we saw it, and I think I said to you, "Oh my God, is this it? This is that moment. Maybe like this is where he's gonna now be someone."
And then when he had Trae Young all locked up, we did a video on that.
Yeah, Trae Young all locked up.
He had him on lockdown.
He had him unlocked. He had a great game against Brooklyn, but now we're seeing him in the depths, and this is what he looked like last year during like the deep winter months. I remember he started well last year. Then there was a period between somewhere between in January, February, where he just really struggled and had some of these 0 games. And now I'm seeing that again. And my question is, are the Knicks fully invested in Frank?
Well, we're going to find out, right?
That's the thing.
This is another one of those decisions that they have to make. We were talking about it, and that they have all these decisions to make. They have all these guys that are all young. They're all viable. They're all trainable, if you will. And they have people that are free agents, people that are not going to be with them a year from now. A lot of short deals. So there's a lot of pieces like that. And then we're looking at the draft. There's so many things that are going to... I think there's so many variables that could change everything. And obviously, losing Frank would be a big piece of that variable.
Are you worried in any capacity about Fizdale, Perry, and Mills, and how much they trust or don't trust or believe in or don't believe in Frank Ntilikina? And it's still early, so
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, for the simple fact that they did not draft him. They inherited him. So he's the inherited stepchild that they didn't pick. So on that, yes. However, from what Fizdale has shown, he's given him chance, given him opportunity, and we don't see what they see as far as, for example, when they're in training camp. What are they really seeing from Frank? They could be seeing a lot more, and they could be saying, you know what? No, we're going to work with this guy. We're going to train him. We want to see this from him. We see it in training. He can do this on the floor. Because we started seeing some development with him. So the fact that we saw some development makes me feel that they've seen even more development.
I watched Phil Jackson's interview today when he drafted Frank. And
I knew you were going to go back and talk about him.
You can, Phil Jackson, listen, yeah, we need to get rid of him. That's the whole thing. Triangle offense, not at this point. However, Phil picked Frank. Phil also picked KP. He also picked Dotson, right? I'm just saying, Phil Jackson had some semblance of
He had a plan.
what I wanted to see. Now, remember...
Well, you said he should have just been coaching. You said he just should have coached the team.
To be honest, looking back, he should have just been coaching because he was trying to micromanage from the top. It was just not working. But Phil, I think he did have a plan. And Phil Jackson gets fired, if I'm not mistaken, less than a month into Frank getting drafted.
Oh, so that's why Frank was sitting on the back stool the whole time.
Well,
that's why he was getting shitted on from the beginning. They were like, oh, you're Phil's pick, so we don't want to mess with you.
And I feel as though, Perry comes in and, Perry has not said any ill words, anything like that. But you do wonder deep down what Perry's thinking. Because while we're going to be really patient, and the Knicks, this is the thing too, the Knicks have preached patience so much. They've said they're not looking at shiny objects. They're doing it the right way. But I have to wonder because in his rookie year, right, Frank is playing behind Jarrett Jack, who's on his last legs, which was fine at the time. Jack did a good job for us. But then,
he was a great mentor for the team. But yes,
I wish he was here this year because I think what we need more than anything is one veteran point guard, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Then mid-season, they trade for Emmanuel Mudiay. So they add another point guard when they didn't have to. They brought Trey Burke up. So that to me, yes, then 4 months into Frank's, 3 months maybe into Frank's rookie season, makes me feel as if they never trusted him as a point guard. Now, that doesn't mean they don't like him as a player in general, or maybe
which is why they moved him over to the small forward position for a bit.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much is hindering his development because these bad games are coming with him being the backup small forward. Frank is not playing point guard at all anymore. And I just think he's not. Now, development could mean that Frank should learn to do this and learn to do that. And that is definitely true. And Frank has his own share of issues. We know that. Frank has a lot of work to do. I don't think anyone's denying that. Wait, I can't talk.
Do you need some Pellegrino? It's very refreshing.
Oh my God, that was rough. Do you think the Knicks are wasting their time putting so much effort into Trey Burke and Emmanuel Mudiay?
Trey Burke, more yes. Emmanuel Mudiay, no. And I don't know exactly what my points are for saying that, but I feel like Emmanuel Mudiay is staying with us. Like, I feel like he's like in the cut, and I feel like him and Fizz are like this. And Trey Burke, I don't necessarily feel that way. I like Trey Burke. I like how he plays. I like his energy. I like him as a part of the New York Knicks organization. But I could see him going to another team, getting a nice fat contract, and becoming a bigger piece in somebody else's team. And I would be happy for him on a personal level if that happens for him.
Look, Frank could pan out or he could not pan out. That is up to Frank. Only Frank. This debate is not going to have any bearing on what Frank Ntilikina becomes. But the fact is, if you draft a project, it's supposed to take time. These aren't ready-made guys. Like Markelle Fultz at Philadelphia, who was supposed to be #1 pick, he can't shoot anymore. Like, he looks like he has mental issues, his shoulder, like he doesn't know what's going on.
I have seen him.
Right. So,
I'm just going to keep really still right now, but I have seen him.
So, example of that is someone who, he was supposed to be good from the jump.
Right. And
when you get someone like Frank, who was not supposed, all he was supposed to be was a good defender. I think in some cases even surpassed what people thought of him defensively. Now, his shooting, I think, was not as good as people thought. I think he has such a nice shot, a great form, that it looks like it should be going in all the time.
I know! That's so funny. I so agree with you. Yes, every time he shoots, I'm like, ooh, nice arc and nice positioning, and your hands are right. He never seems to, once in a while you see him, he does that flip up, which is really not really a shot, but it's when he might get close to the basket and he kind of gets up like, well, it's anyway. But outside of that, every time that I see him stand up to shoot, he has this, he does the double bounce and he's like, gets in position. He looks so confident, like that's going in.
That's why people believe in his shot. That's why I still believe in his shot. I think But right now, Frank is.
He could have a perfect shot. I believe that he could have a perfect shot.
The problem is that I don't know if New York will ever afford anyone the time to take time to get good. I'm watching the media. Like, I'm thinking about this now. Frank was in Milwaukee or Orlando. There would be no discussion about him right now.
And as I'm editing this, everyone's favorite reporter, Mark Berman, who Fizdale personally called out,
Berman, what's up, man? I got 2 wins in a row. You can't ask me a question. I see how it is. Okay.
just posted a hit piece on Frank and Knox where he interviewed rival scouts.
I just feel like it's too early for Frank. What I want to see is I want to see him go back to playing point guard. The Knicks have too many players to me right now. Don't you feel like? I feel like.
No, not yes. We do have too many players. You got to cut 2 people, right?
Well, because of Trier, obviously, but even outside of that, I feel like the Knicks right now, you can only spend that much time on people on a certain amount of people, and I feel like right now we're spread so thin, giving so much effort into like 12 guys that these trades need to start. Even if it's like, I guess I hope it's not Frank, but even whatever it is, we need to kind of get this roster down to kind of who's going to be here next year in the next 20 games. So we can say, okay, these are like, we're going to really hone in and focus now. By game 40, which is about halfway through the season, that's when I want to see these trades happen. A couple trades,
around what time of the year is that going to be? 40 games in.
That's around the trade deadline. So around the All-Star game, February.
Okay.
I think right now there's just too many guys on the team.
Frank leaving, of course, would be upsetting for me because I think, have a lot invested in him as a player and as wanting to see him develop and everything. But if he's not right for us and if he can't step up, then it's time to cut our losses. But I still want to give him the full year. I want to see him play with KP. I want to see him bounce between the small forward and the point guard position. I want to see him perfect his shot because I know he can perfect that shot. And I want to see him perfect that shot so that when he gets the ball, and I don't care if he's only playing 15 minutes a game. I want to see those 15 minutes be a worthwhile 15 minutes where he is definitely giving them the defense that they need and giving us some points. And I'll be cool with that. I'm not looking for Frank, and I was never looking for Frank to be a superstar. I was never looking for Frank to be this like amazing player. I wanted to see him be a good, solid player, and I'm cool with that. I would love to keep him here, but if it makes more sense for the organization for him to go somewhere else, if we're going to get good value for him, then you know what, do what we have to do.
But Perry and Mills, man, what a job they have on their hands.
We don't envy them. But we're going to the game Saturday, and we hope to take some video footage while we're out there, so definitely tune back in, and we'll see where this Frank talk develops too.
We're hoping Frank's on the team Saturday. All right, guys.